The folks online, you're okay?
You can see Dave.
We'll make sure they can hear. Well, I'm excited to introduce a friend today, Todd Markiewicz. Some of you may know him, been in Columbus doing a lot of different things for a while. He's from Dayton, Ohio, but he spent the last 34 years in media, both in TV, print, and radio. I've known him through his radio career. He tells me I have a face for radio. He worked for Clear Channel Radio and most recently was the station manager for WBNS AM and FM 97.1 fan. He's a graduate of Xavier and an official alumnus of the Ohio State University. Has served as president of the Ohio State Alumni Association for North Canada, when the club reached its highest status of gold club for the university. Todd is now president of the 1870 Society. He provides oversight of the organization, focusing on business development and relationship partnerships. He serves on the advisory council of Life Sports, which enhances the quality of youth development through sports and recreational programs. And he's also on the advisory board of the Second and Seventh Foundation, which promotes reading and providing free books and positive young athlete role models kids need. Sounds a little similar to what we do here in Rotary. If you consider us, Tim, when we have our Rotary athlete t-shirts, all those there. And he's a graduate of Leadership Columbus. I've known Todd for many years, and when, as you know, I try and find something about a speaker that's kind of unique and different, and he has a quote that I really like. There's two things I want to tell about Todd. The first one is a really cool quote, which is, "My journey has been full of learning, teaching, motivating, and best of all, meeting and helping develop talented people. It is my goal every single day to share what I've learned with others and help them challenge themselves, grow personally and professionally. Be curious, don't assume, and have the courage to try something different today." So I have the courage to try something different today. I'm going to put on my black tie and tails for this formal event. Because I heard a little story about Todd from years ago. He's a kind of a gullible guy, rumor has it. And early in his career, he went to a gala. And he was told that the gala was black tie. So he got all dressed up with a coworker, I think. They showed up in their tuxedos, black tie and tails. And apparently it was not a black tie. It was a casual event. And there was Todd in his tuxedo, standing out profoundly. I'm sure there's more of that story. That's about all I heard. But let's give Todd Markiewicz a warm Rotary welcome.
Good morning. It's great to be here this morning. Thank you, Mike, for the introduction. I do want to tell you all, Mike is the one that invited me to speak this morning. So if you fall asleep in your eggs, it's his fault. You could blame Bob Lash too. I don't think Bob's here today, but so I got a question for everybody. Name, image, and likeness, NIL. By a show of hands, how many of you are either confused about it or just hate the idea of it? Right? So I always start that way because this is about change. It's about a changing industry, which is college sports, right? NIL, name, image, and likeness, is all about our collegiate athletes harnessing the power of their name, image, and likeness to profit from their performance or being a part of any collegiate program. I will tell you this, that if I was sitting with you a year ago while I was at 97.1 The Fan, and I was asked that question, I would have raised my hand. 38 years in radio, and I get a call that says, hey, we know you're doing great things at the radio station. Obviously, being with the flagship for Ohio State Athletics for 13 years, I worked with Learfield a lot. I partnered with the university. I knew Gene, I knew Coach, and got the call that said, we need help. We got to get this situation fixed. And we think you're the guy to do it. And I was humbled by that, but I'm like, guys, I'm about 5 years out here, and we built something special with the fan, and I don't think I want to make a shift. And part of that was because I wasn't really excited about the way NIL was unfolding, right? I think most folks are confused by the fact that it happened so fast, right? It was like a switch. Started in California, then everybody had to follow suit to be able to compete. And let's not mistake what NIL is about. It is about keeping the programs on the court, on the field of play, elite. And I can't think of anything more important for Ohio State, the university we all love. I know he said I'm a Xavier grad, full disclosure. Went to Ohio State for 3.5 years. I am an official alumnus of Ohio State. I did serve as president of the Alumni Association in Orlando for 8 years. But the bottom line is I did get my degree for 1 semester. I went to Xavier for 1 semester. I got married, had kids young, left Ohio State, and then ended up finishing at Xavier. So that confuses some people. I think that question a lot. Now I'm with the 1870 Society. The 1870 Society was born out of a need. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about what NIL at Ohio State has shaped into, even in the 3 months that I've been a part of this group. Okay. So when I started at 1870, we knew and the university recognized that there was a need for change, and that was a for-profit NIL collective. There are 2 types of collectives. There are 501c3s and there are for-profits. You're seeing at this point, at this stage in the progress of NIL across the country, more and more universities are leaning in on the for-profit side of the collective equation. And there's a good reason for that. It doesn't make one better than the other. It just means we can do different things that the 501c3s cannot, right? They serve a purpose and we serve a purpose. So when I started in 1870, 3 months ago, there were 7 collectives at Ohio State, believe it or not. Many of you, that surprises a lot of people, but there were 7. There was 1 for-profit, and then all the others were 501c3s. So the difference is that the 501c3 collectives are seeking donors, right? And those donors would donate money. That money would funnel to the athletes, and then the athletes would do community service in exchange for that financial exchange of dollars, right? So it depends on the donor model. What I'm doing, what we are doing at 1870 is very similar to what I did all those 38 years in broadcasting. We are a content creation company. I am a media company. The difference is that instead of Bobby Carpenter and Anthony Schlegel and Man and Bone on the radio as talent, I'm using the athletes to create that content. And I'm looking forward to sharing all that with you guys this morning. So 1870 Society, this is our mission statement. It is integrity over everything. I will tell you all that one of the first questions I asked when I interviewed with Coach Day and with Gene is, I said, guys, I need to be convinced I can do this job morally, ethically, the right way, and that I'm not going to be asked to do anything that I don't want to do or that I don't feel comfortable doing. Both of them assured me that at Ohio State, that would not be a problem. And one thing I can tell you all is that I go through compliance training weekly. I meet with the compliance department weekly. We are advised by the university in regards to compliance and ethics, and they take it very seriously. There's no cutting corners here. We can't afford to do that, right? The risk is too high. So without fail, we do what we say we're going to do. That's been a problem with a lot of collectives around the country, over-promising and then under-delivering when the athlete actually gets to the institution. We've seen that happen at schools like Miami, Florida State, even Georgia, where someone was promised a certain amount of money, which is not compliant, by the way, and they got there and those dollars were not available. And then that player had a decision to make whether to leave and to another school or enter the portal, right? So that's not gonna happen on my watch, that's not gonna happen with the 1870 Society. What we promise, we will deliver on. Winners are team players. We are trying to bring businesses, OSU fans, donors together in a spirit of mutual collaboration to support athletics at Ohio State University. And finally, everyone belongs. We're building a culture of compassion and connection. Everyone is not only welcome, but celebrated for their unique differences. One of the other things that was very important to me when I took this job is I told Gene, I want to get every athlete at Ohio State something. And he said, good luck with that endeavor, right? But why shouldn't someone on the pistol team, synchronized swimming team, the rowing team, anybody that competes, sacrifices, puts in the work to be an elite athlete at Ohio State, they all deserve compensation. And I'm going to show you several ways that we've developed where any athlete that chooses to partner with 1870 is going to get compensation. And then we're monetizing that opportunity over the top with folks and businesses like all of you in this room. So I'm excited to get into what we're talking about. I do want to explain those 7 collectives that started. That is now condensed. So in 3 months, we've gone from 7 to 2. And I'll explain that. I know Gary Markiewicz was here to speak with you guys about a year ago, Mike. So Gary and I are very good friends. We've known each other for years. Gary is the one that started the 1870 Society. A lot of folks don't know that. So Gary is the one that recognized that changes were coming with the IRS that would impact the 501c3 NIL collectors. And what I mean by that is a ruling came out from the IRS. They said, we're no longer allowing tax write-offs for any NIL donation. Well, that's pretty crippling. If you're dependent on those donors and they're looking for tax write-off, right? So Gary had the foresight to understand that change was coming. He put our board together and started the for-profit 1870 Society. Initially, we were going to be called Cohesion LLC, and there was going to be the Cohesion Foundation and Cohesion LLC. And we quickly realized that there was a lot of confusion and paralysis in space, right? We had to get rid of that confusion. So the best way for us to do that was to change the name. So we moved to the 1870 Society, a reference to the year the university was founded. You can see that 1870 in the seal of Ohio State. Now we move forward. Cohesion Foundation, I'm sure you all have seen if you've been to the games, they're doing a raffle of 50-50 to generate revenue for NIL. They can do that legally in Ohio because they're a 501c3. We cannot participate in a raffle. That would be illegal, right? So Cohesion Foundation is doing the 50-50 this year. All those dollars are going half to the winner, obviously, half to the pot, the NIL pot, to pay athletes. So Cohesion Foundation is using the dollars generated from that to complete their commitment to the athletes that they serve. And then Cohesion Foundation is going to go away in December after they fulfill that obligation to the athletes. So that leaves 2. That is the foundation, and that is the 1870 Society. Gene recently announced a week or 2 ago, we have now been established as the premier NIL collective for Ohio State football. What that means is we are now handling every recruit that comes to Ohio State in terms of their NIL offer. So to share a little bit about how that works and staying compliant, the athlete will come in for their official or unofficial visit. I will get a phone call that says, here are the folks that are coming in. I am not allowed to meet with them in person. I am a booster. Okay. It is not compliant for me to meet with that athlete or their families and talk NIL. So what happens is I can't call them. I'm not allowed to reach out to them or initiate contact with them. They have to call me. So then those athletes on their visits or their parents or their agent, many have agents, depending on what high school, what state they're from. Some states allow NIL at high school level. some don't. So if they're in a state that allows for NIL at high school, typically they will have an agent. Okay, sometimes I meet with the agent, the parents, the aunt, the uncle, and the athlete, right? So this is a phone conversation. At that point, Titus Powell, who many of you probably remember, he was the defensive player of the game in the Sugar Bowl against Alabama, won a national championship with Ohio State, and is one of the best guys that I know. I hired him at the radio station, gave him a start in broadcasting, and then I hired him. He's like a bad penny, I can't get rid of him. But I love him, and he's just, I trust him. He's a great father, he's a great husband, he's a great guy. And I knew he was perfect for the role of director of player engagement in 1870s. So Titus and I then will get on the call. Titus will talk about what it's like to be an athlete at Ohio State, how hard it is to train with Mickey, right? How rewarding it is, and what life can be like after football from a career standpoint when you play at Ohio State, and what a difference that makes. He talks about what it's like to go through the recruiting process, what it's like to get on campus for the first time. Then I talk about the business side of the equation, right? And I talk to the athlete about 1870 Society's philosophies, how we operate, the promises we make we're going to keep. We talk about transitioning them to Ohio State, whether it's into their apartment, whether it's, whatever their need is when they get here. All the parents want to know, Todd, do you have my kids back? Say, absolutely. And we fulfill anything that we're asked to make sure that athlete transitions easily to Ohio State and is comfortable in their surroundings. It's a scary thing for a parent, right? To send their kid off to college, especially if they're from out of state and they really don't have any roots here. So the parents worry about that. We take care of that. So that's how the recruiting calls operate. That's the state of NIL today. Two collectives, one that's a 501c3 and then 1870 Society. We are handling football now, and we're handling all other sports except men's and women's basketball. The foundation is handling men's and women's basketball. We're handling football and all other sports. So Gene saw and Coach saw, and this is the reason they're leaning in on 1870. Okay. So we've been established as Ohio State's premier NIL collective. I said before, we're creating content, no different than a radio or TV station. We're a content creation machine. We are best in class sports camps. We'll be announcing very shortly. We're going to be doing the first ever Ohio State football fantasy camp, where any of you will be able to sign up and be treated like a recruit and play against current and former players. Yes, you will sign waivers. We're also doing a youth sports camp, which is free to youth in need in the area, where they will be taught by current Ohio State football players how the game should be played, right? It's an amazing experience. We did the first one of those last year, hugely successful. And we're going to continue to do those camps as we move forward. Exclusive access. So when you become a partner of 1870 Society, there's a myriad of ways to do that. One of them is to buy our marketing programs and sponsorships. And I'll share some of that content here in a little bit. The other is all of you have one of these cards at your seat. So we just launched this last Thursday. It is an app that is called Next Level, NXLVL. You can download it, you can use the QR code, you can download it in the App Store, or you can visit the 1870society.com and you can sign up as an individual or a business for a subscription tier. Okay. All those dollars that come in through the subscription tiers go directly back to athletes. Our goal here is to build the NIL pot. So when you subscribe, you're going to get exclusive access to some of the content I'm going to show you today that no one else gets access access to, or you get it first before the general public receives it. And there are other perks as well, depending on what level you sign up for. It could be anywhere from a signed autographed picture of JTT to the opportunity to walk with the team from the Blackwell into the Skull session and then into the shoe and be on the sideline pregame, right? So the experiences are all over the place, but what we're trying to do, and again, we built these subscription tiers and we built the assets in them with Coach Day, Mark Pantoni, and Quinn, right? So they were very helpful in terms of what if we did this and what if we did that? What if we offered this? So there are experiences you can receive as a fan that you've never been able to experience. And then we build that NIL pot so that any coach that comes to us from any sport that says, I'm talking to this kid, he's out in Boston, we really need him this year, it's going to really fill a hole. Here's what we think might be necessary or needed, right? And then we can pull from that NIL pot. So it's not money going from a donor directly to a specific athlete. We could do that. We can do that. But for the most part, what we're trying to do is build that pot. We want this organization to be institutional and sustainable for Ohio State for years to come. We also recognize that NIL is changing every day. I read an article this morning that there was a new ruling that came out yesterday from the NCAA where they're now going to allow the universities to lean in a little bit more and do some things they've not been allowed to do in relation to the NIL space. I still got to process that. But the bottom line is it's changing every day. And if you follow it, if you track it, if you keep up on it, there are going to be changes that come as we move forward as well. So I hear a lot, it's the wild, wild west. I'm here to assure you it's not, okay? And I'm here to assure you that at Ohio State, it is absolutely not the wild, wild west. The most important thing to our coaches is still, first and foremost, is still them being a Buckeye and wanting to be a Buckeye, right? The money is secondary, but it's necessary, okay? That is the world we live in right now. And I asked before, how many of you just don't like the idea of it? I get it. I didn't like it either. But I also knew the genie was out of the bottle and the cork isn't going back in. And to be asked or tasked to be the architect of helping to fix the equation for the university we all love was something I couldn't pass. My wife thinks something. I might be. Technology. We're also doing some things where we want to be on the forefront of technological opportunities that we can then monetize using the athlete's name, image, and likeness to build that pot. So we have, when we say the best damn brand in the land, passionate fan base. We have the largest alumni fan base of any college, 61 million. I don't know if anybody saw that, came out about 2 weeks ago. 61 million. What my job is to get out in the community. I'm going to an alumni club in Sarasota next week. I'm going to Phoenix Alumni Club, speaking with all of you, and I appreciate that invite this morning. This is about educating so that everyone can understand the need and how to participate. And hopefully at 1870 Society, we've made that very easy for all of you as fans to do that. So we're all about engagement. We have a huge social media presence growing every day and results. Ohio State has been the most monetized social media entity in all of college sports. Now we need to get the fans to activate and participate either through a subscription or by, if you own a business, purchasing marketing with us. Memberships. So things you can receive, depending on the tier. You can have a video chat with a prominent athlete, Ryan Day signed posters, autographed memorabilia, official Buckeye helmet leaf decal, exclusive access to the Ryan Day podcast, autographed football media guides, things that you don't normally see. A lot of it is used equipment, used stuff, right? Memorabilia. Here's the other part of what we're doing right now. You will be seeing these in Giant Eagles across the state of Ohio very shortly. But these are some of the things that we've created in the short time that we've been involved in this space. You see the next level app down here. You can download that. There's tons of great game day content, and our athletes are signing up for profiles. We'll get more to that. Boom Juice. It is a beer. So whenever there is a big recruit, right? What do they always say on social media? We got a boom coming, right? Then the recruit gets here and it's boom. Welcome so-and-so to Ohio State University. So we said, let's have Boom Juice, which is boom beer. So that will be going into Giant Eagles in November. We've got a pizza with the linebacker crew, which is Tommy Eichenberg and Steel Chambers. They picked the pizza. We're going to do a different specialty frozen pizza every couple months. That'll all be sold through Giant Eagle, and all of the profit from those will go to NIL to pay athletes. Titus Tries is a great video series. Titus is such a good sport. So we said to Titus, well, Titus, would you be willing to wrestle a heavyweight wrestler and us film it? He said, sure. Okay. So he has since done, he's a goalie for against the women's hockey team. They're firing pucks at him. He wrestled a heavyweight and a featherweight. He played tennis, taking serves against the best tennis players, male and female. He played basketball against Cody McMahon, played pig against Cody McMahon, and horse against one of the men basketball players. So he fenced, and it's just super entertaining because Titus is funny. The athletes love it because they're kicking his butt. As a matter of fact, Titus said to me the other day, he said, please pick a sport I can win. And I said, we're not going to. So this is part of the marketing opportunity for you if you own a business. So this video carousel up here is all athlete-driven content. We at 1870 Society compensate the athlete to produce the content, okay? It is meant to be a peek into the daily routine of an athlete. It could be them training, could be them hanging out with their buddies playing video games in their apartment. It could be a tour of their apartment. It could be, anything that they want to showcase. It could be them doing yoga. It could be, them riding an ATV. All those things are up here in these videos. It's an inside peek to get to know the athletes better. And the eyeballs on this are tremendous. We are actually syndicating them. They're going to be on Yahoo sports sites, Sports Illustrated. They're going to be all over the country. And those eyeballs, we then monetize based on a cost per thousand impression and serve the advertisers ads on top. And the ads will utilize athletes for your business. And we're getting really creative with it. It's a lot of fun. The athletes are enjoying the process of doing it. And we're generating money for that NIL pot that I talked about. These videos are also this firework. It is shoppable video content. What that means is that within the video, there could be a button or multiple buttons. I'll give you a real world example. We had an athlete that was, we had an opportunity with Samsung. So Samsung would provide a phone and a tablet. They have to go activate the device, and then they need to use the devices in post. Well, we created videos to support that endeavor with Samsung, where the athletes are doing fun stuff using the devices. And then at the bottom of the video, there's a shoppable link that they can click without leaving the video, which is what makes it pretty amazing. And it'll send them to Samsung's site for you as a consumer to learn more about the Samsung products that the athletes are highlighting. We can do a live stream. So we could have an athlete. So for example, with the pizza, we'll have Tommy and Steele announce on their social media feeds, hey, everybody, Buckeye Nation, we're going to be live in 10 minutes on the 1870 Society website. People come to the website. They come on live, not recorded. and talk about the launch of the pizzas. They're going to be in store doing a 2-hour signing at this Giant Eagle location. And please come join us, buy the pizza, it's delicious. And then, you know, they're sitting there eating the pizza that has their name on it, right? So it's pretty amazing because it's shoppable, it's higher engagement than your typical marketing or digital advertising play. It's 150% more likely to get a click-through rate. And it's 2.1 times higher watch time because it's more engaging, right? Live stream, 19% product click rate, 5-time increase in session time, and then the live stream sees up to a 20-time increase in return on investment. So what we're doing is we're using the influencer ability of the social media of the athlete, their NIL, to drive eyeballs and people back to our website to see them live or to see the recorded videos, and then you can shop directly from there. Would you mind clicking on this ocean headboard video for me? Yeah, thank you. So this is what the carousel looks like on our website. Once you click on one, it pops up and it runs, and they all just run on a loop. I think you have to click the mute on top.
Oh, there we go.
There
Thank
go.
you.
I used to go from one form, one of the question team, to the front canvas. There's the video if we're going to classes that day. So that's just an example of one of the videos, and then the player will play.
Back here in Columbus.
So I believe this is Cam Martinez. Cam is taking you into the recovery room at Ohio State to show everybody all the equipment and resources they have as a player to recover from the grind of a tough game the week before. Folks don't get an opportunity to see this room, right? So it's giving the fan base an opportunity to go somewhere they've never been. By the way, we have another opportunity we're finalizing here right now, which is, we get back out of here if you don't mind. Mark, thank you. We have an opportunity right now with a place called Link Room. And we just finalized the deal yesterday. What Link Room does is they've gone in and rendered Coach Day's office. They've rendered 3-dimensionally the Woody Hayes Center, the basketball facilities. And what will happen is Coach Day can go on his social and say, in 15 minutes, I'm going to be live in my office and you can join me for a Q&A. And you will go in, you'll get in the waiting room. Everybody will get 1 to 2 minutes, and you will be then immersed in an augmented reality into Coach Day's office live, and you will be able to have a conversation with the coach. It's pretty cool. That's what I'm talking about when we talk about the tech side, right? We're trying to stay on top of those opportunities from a tech standpoint, because that's where the future is, and that's going to drive NIL revenue for Ohio State. So the Ryan Day podcast. Coach Day has done podcasts, but he's never had his own until now. So we're very grateful he agreed to do the podcast, and it's the first time that he's done one. And then we're selling sponsorship opportunities to businesses to sponsor Coach Day's
The best leaders, that I think of it like, you go golfing, you don't use a putter from 150 yards away. You take out your 9-iron, and you have to use the right club for the right shot. A 9-iron at 150, flexing on his coach. What do you mean? I don't know. I guess I bust out probably a 7. But you go ahead and do your thing.
Now
Doesn't mean it's going
down
to
to 18.
That's as hard as I can.
Great kid. That's an example of one of the clips, part of that. So it's really about getting to know Coach better. as a person. It's not an X's and O's driven podcast. It's what it's like to be a head coach of a major college football program. So the content will never spoil, right? Because it's not about a game or about a play. It's about him as a human being, which we love to showcase because he's a really good. Tyvus tries. So this is an example I talked about with Tyvus. This is going to give you a little sample of what this is like. This is when he played hockey against the women's hockey team.
They don't know what they got coming. I feel like Kane and the Undertaker right now. They think I should fear the Bucks should fear me.
He said he's gonna stand on his head, but I heard he can't even skate.
So we have, there's probably 18 of those that are up right now. They're on YouTube. They're also available to subscribers first when they launch. They're a ton of fun, a lot of fun to watch, really entertaining and engaging. And we have sponsorships that we sell. No different than when I sold sponsorships to radio station assets. Same thing. It's amazing to me is how much this job is like my old job. We're just taking it and doing it with using the athletes and generating revenue for NIL instead of a media company. That's the only difference. This is, at your seat with this card, this is the next level app. So basically, it is a platform, we are calling it the Instagram of NIL. Okay. It's no different than Instagram, no different than Twitter or any of those other opportunities. You go there, and here's the beauty of it. Any athlete that signed up, bless you, any athlete that signed up and has a profile, every time one of you downloads that app and clicks on any of those videos, that athlete's getting paid. There is how many know what a link tree is? Link tree? So link tree is what you might see, kind of looks like this in a way, but it's, see this right here at the bottom? Okay, that is next level connect. That is not Linktree, it's better than Linktree. Here's why. So the athlete signs up, this is our profile, or us. There's a link to all of our social in one place. The key here is that when the athlete signs up for it, puts it on their social and on the next level app. Every time one of you click on one of those links, that athlete's getting compensated. So with Linktree, a lot of people use Linktree, there's no compensation, there's no pay-per-play. This provides the athlete, again, it doesn't matter what sport you're a part of. If you're creating content that's robust and people click on it to watch it, you're going to get compensated. The athletes all have their own portal in real time. They can sell NFTs of themselves, they can sell trading cards of themselves. They can sell merchandise that they may have developed. Anything that is in their arsenal of what they're doing to market themselves can all be on their profile on Next Level. And anytime any of the fan base clicks on it, they're getting compensated. They can go into that portal that's assigned to them and see in real time how much they're making. The more content they put up, the more clicks they get, the more revenue they're compensated. So, if you're on the synchronized swimming team and you haven't seen a lot of NIL opportunity and you sign up for this app and you're creating great content, you could be getting anywhere from $800 to $1,500 a month, which is $800 to $1,500 more than you had with, right? So it's a way for us to activate for any athlete to get compensated. And they're signing up, they love it. It's great. So this goes back to the products. One of the other products that we're doing is we're doing a dandruff, I know.
Yeah.
Dandruff shampoo with JTT, and I'll leave you with this one. JTT is Poly-American, he's Samoan. He loved Troy Polamalu from the Steelers back in the day when he did the Head and Shoulders commercials. So he wanted to mimic that. So we made that happen for him. So you'll be seeing that dandruff shampoo very soon at Giant Eagle. So I probably have time for that.